Today I'm going to be showing you how to fix a controller board for a Frigidaire oven. The customer that sent this one in stated that the oven does not power on. It is completely dead. Now I have already bench tested it. Indeed, it is completely dead. So my first step for the diagnostic and repair is to open it up. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Nick. I started Nick's Electronics Repair more than a decade ago, and since then we have fixed over 27,000 devices. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in the unit to show you that it's not powering on. And of course we should be getting something on the display, and we are not. If I press the buttons, I am not getting any audio feedback. I should be hearing the beeping, but I get nothing. One thing I'd like to show you, however, is you will notice a little bit of an orange glow from the screen. So that does mean that my screen is getting power. Often these types of failures are caused by a defective processor, and there are 3 on this board. There's one over here, one underneath the display, and then one down here. First thing I want to do is to check for shorts on those 3 ICs. So I'm going to be using my multimeter in continuity mode. When I have a short, I get a beep. I'm going to place one of my leads to this bottom right corner pin, which is ground, and I'm going to rake the other pins. Trying to listen for a beep. Oh, we got a beep for a half second, but it went away. And that could be just residual power since we had the unit plugged in just a minute ago, but the important thing is that the beep went away and the resistance started to rise, which indicates that there isn't a short. Now we'll do the same thing with the bottom IC down here. For this one, it's going to be pin number 3 on the bottom right corner. So as proof, we have a short with the bottom right corner of the top IC. And let's see, pin 1 and 2 here are okay. Let's swipe for the rest. And swipe over here. Oh, it looks like we might have a short here. Oh, okay, and then it went away, went to 300 ohms and then kept rising. Let's keep swiping. So this one is the 4th pin on the top row, and that one's actually supposed to be ground, so that's normal. And then see 3, 2, and pin 1 over here. Good. For the large processor, we're going to flip the controller board over. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so it's easier to show you. And we're going to do the same thing. So for the back, I'm going to put one of my pins here, which is our ground. And then we're going to swipe on the legs of the processor. And we should not get any shorts here. And then on the top row, there's only one pin that is ground. So we should get one beep right here. And we do, but the rest should not beep. And they do not. So that indicates that we do not have a dead short on any 3 of those processors. However, that does not mean that they are fully functional. What that actually tells me is that most likely this bottom IC chip over here is defective. So that's the first chip I'm going to replace. So how do I know that? That's just going to be from experience, trial and error on these boards. We have fixed hundreds of them. So at this point, we just notice patterns. The most likely IC to fail is just that bottom one. We're going to be switching over to our microscope for the soldering work. And for the desoldering, we're going to be using our desolder braid. If you're interested in sending in your oven controller board for us to fix, we do offer flat rate services which are available on our website, and we of course offer a 1-year warranty on all of our repairs. I'll have links in the description down below for that. I have a little extra on the other side there. There we go. See if I can use up a little bit more of that desolder wick. All right, let's see. It looks like our chip should lift right off, and it does. I'll go ahead and put our replacement in. And it looks like one of the pins is offset a little bit. Let's push it in. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and solder in the replacement. I'm just going to start with some of the corner pins to lock in the IC chip. so that it doesn't fall through. And then we can just make our way down. All right. So this one's giving me a bit of a hard time for flow. We're just gonna add some flux there. Touch it up. There we go, that looks better. Let's add extra solder to this one. There we go, that looks pretty good. We're going to do a quick cleanup with some isopropyl alcohol and a Q-tip. Want to get rid of a little bit of that flux residue. So both the solder and the desolder wick that we use have flux embedded inside of it. So that's why there is a lot of flux residue, even though I didn't add flux to every pin, just that one. And if you're curious to know which solder and desolder wick we use, I will have links where you can buy these same exact ones that we used in today's video. That'll be in the video description down below. All right, let's go ahead and connect our board back to power. And as you can see, the buttons are now working. And let's see, let's turn off the lights. Look at that. We got it fixed. The reason we weren't able to see anything on the screen is because the display itself is on its way out. This is a very common failure. So we're gonna go ahead and replace that display so we can make sure to get a nice bright screen for our customer, and then we'll go ahead and give it one more test. For the display, there are 3 support pins on the corners. We're gonna go ahead and desolder those first. We have one set over here, and one set over here. So these don't actually connect to anything, they're just support pins. Oh, and it looks like our display, yep, is free and loose. On the other side, we have the 3 pins over here. So we'll desolder those. And these. So just to confirm, they're loose. And they're loose and free moving. So now there's all the pins in the center of the display right there. And I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I'm gonna add a ton of solder. And what we're gonna do is I'm going to melt all of the pins, just going back and forth until the display falls out. So the display is free and clear. And now I'm just going to remove some of that solder. So at this point, now that the pins are no longer in the holes, it's going to be a lot easier for me to desolder them. And it looks like I have just a little bit of solder in there, but it's not actually soldered in there. Just kind of push through that. And if we look at it through the front, I can probably just brush all that away. Let's see, a little bit stuck in there. Maybe I can just poke it through with my multimeter lead. Okay, and now it looks like the holes are pretty clear. Now the brand new displays that we have don't have those 3 support pins on the other side. So what we're gonna do to support it is use this 3M sticky pad. It's double-sided tape, and I'm gonna place it just on the edge of the processor here. Next, I'll go ahead and feed the display through. The legs can be a little tough to line up sometimes, so you just gotta play with it. Okay, and there we go. So we'll go ahead and start by soldering the support pins on the right side. We'll do the same on the left, and everything in the middle. I'm gonna add just a little bit of flux to all of our pins. All right, now we did add a lot of flux this time, so we'll definitely need to clean that up. Although it is no clean flux, so technically we don't have to, but I would rather do so. One last test. And look at that. Very nice bright display. If we put the front shell in front of it for contrast, it looks even better. That does not technically complete our repairs. There's a few more things I'm gonna be doing, such as reflowing our relays over here. They are known to suffer from cracked solder joints, so we'll make sure to strengthen those, as well as replace some of the capacitors. These electrolytic capacitors over here can sometimes fail, and we wanna definitely get ahead of those types of faults before we send it back to the customer. Those we will be doing off screen. The purposes of this video was to show you how to fix the dead no power, which we've already done successfully. If you have a oven controller board that you'd like to send in for us to fix, we do offer flat rate services, which always come with a 1-year warranty. Those are available on our website, which I will link in the video description down below. If you found the video helpful or useful, leave us a like, subscribe for more content, and thank you for watching.